This story makes me feel very confident for the future of RTS.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're going to be taking a little break from ARPG and talking about one of my other favorite genres, RTS. And a lot of people think it's dead, and I'm going to give you hopefully hope by the end of this video. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to support smaller channels. Alright, let's jump right into this. Now, I want to start this video a little bit in the past and talk about what RTS has been and where it is going. Now, this is an article from PC Gamer back in January 17th, 2020, and I did cover it back then, but we're going to take a look at it again. And it's titled, "Can Real-Time Strategy Come Back from the Brink of Death? The Prognosis is Grim." Now, back in the early 1990s, literally RTS, real-time strategy, was king. You had games like Dune, you had Command & Conquer, the Red Alert series, and then of course you had StarCraft. And these games were really what started esports in its entirety. What put esports on the map? And of course, that's really StarCraft. Everybody knows StarCraft. If you're watching this video and you have not heard of StarCraft, that is very, very surprising, okay? But then what happened to RTS? Well, it's pretty simple. There was a huge push for consoles. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. And if you have ever tried to play, an action RPG, a real-time strategy, real heavy focused PC content on a console, it's crap. It is really, really hard to make that leap. On top of that, 3D and graphics rendering got a whole lot better. And unfortunately, real-time strategy did not make that leap. And of course, first-person shooters became all the rage. Now we fast forward to 2010, and Blizzard finally makes the decision and drops StarCraft II. And RTS fans go wild. It ends up being a critical and commercial success and does make a ton of money. Now, obviously from 1990s to 2010, there was a lot of games in between in the RTS space. My favorite one was the Warhammer 40k Dawn of War series. I did play that game a whole lot, but StarCraft was always the king. And this game, to this day, 10 years later, still does millions of dollars. It gives away millions of dollars in prize pool money in esports out of the country. It is still widely popular. But this news did drop last week, and I covered it, so we're going to move down the rabbit hole 1 inch, and we are now at Blizzard ending StarCraft II content development. Now, let me explain why this is such major news, okay? It's one thing to say, hey, we're no longer going to be developing content for StarCraft II because we're going to put all our resources into the development of StarCraft III. That is not what they said. I've reached out to my sources, I've scoured the internet, I've gone through forums, and it is pretty clear that as of right now, there is no talk and nothing in development for StarCraft III. Blizzard Activision is completely moving away from real-time strategy. Right here, look at this. Under Blizzard ending StarCraft II content development, this IGN article, there are no more minerals. I'm sure any StarCraft fans out there understand that reference. So if they decided, hey, let's start making StarCraft 3, they haven't storyboarded, they haven't made any part of it, you are talking, and this is without exaggeration, a decade. You are probably, if they decide to pull the trigger and go forward with StarCraft 3, you would not get that title for likely 10 years. That's my guess. Look at Diablo 4 and how long that's taking, right? I'm talking 10 years likely if they ever decide to make another StarCraft 3 game, or another StarCraft game. But there is hope. So now that you got the framework, now that you got the backstory on RTS doing great and now not so good and they didn't make the leap, now let's talk about the bright possible future for RTS. In my opinion, ever since Blizzard made the decision to merge with Activision, they have been a shell of their former selves. They used to listen to the community. They used about making a game that can last a decade. Now, obviously, and I get this, it's business world, it's shareholders, it's profit, it's microtransactions. They're playing in a different field. But everything that they pulled, you know, politically, everything with BlizzCons, I mean, just the whole deal. You normally only hear negative news, unfortunately, about Blizzard. But there has now been three studios, 3 different gaming studios created from ex-Blizzard employees. Now, the first one, and this one I'm just going to touch on very quickly, is Bonfire Studios. Now, Bonfire Studios is going to be making PC-focused content, but that being said, Rob Pardo, who is a former World of Warcraft designer, is the person that started this studio. So most likely his games will be focused around MMOs, okay? And right now we're not talking about MMOs, but one ex-Blizzard employee started Bonfire Studios. Okay, so let's move past that. Now, a couple weeks ago, we talked about Dreamhaven. Ex-Blizzard vets, including former CEO, start new game company. Now, this is another game company focused on making quality PC content. And this is Dreamhaven brings ex-StarCraft, Hearthstone, and Warcraft leads back together. Now, I do just want to mention, because I didn't say it earlier in the video, that the Warcraft series was also an absolute monster RTS game, and I don't want anybody out there thinking that I forgot about Warcraft. I played tons and tons and tons of Warcraft 3, and I was just as disappointed as anybody else based upon that absolutely botched remaster. Okay, so I got lots of love for Warcraft 3 as well. I just always preferred StarCraft. So now we've got Dreamhaven, okay? And they are going to be making PC titles because they're pissed off at Blizzard as well. But again, this is not about Dreamhaven. That's not what we're going to be talking about. The company we are going to be talking about is Frost Giant Studios. As Blizzard scales back StarCraft support, a new hope emerges for RTS players. Now think about this for a second, okay? You have an ex-World of Warcraft designer creating Bonfire Studios to create potentially amazing PC MMOs, okay? Then you have ex-Blizzard developers create Dreamhaven. And these are people from Warcraft, Hearthstone, and StarCraft, right? They're going to be focused on PC content. Maybe we'll get a hack and slash from them, okay? Now we have Frost Giant Studios, who are going to focus solely on RTS. So let's see what these guys are all about and what is the plan. Right now I'm on the Washington Post. This is an article written by Alexander Lee. In a bid to rejuvenate the real-time strategy genre, veteran Blizzard game developers Tim Morten and Tim Campbell have founded a new studio, Frost Giant, whose goal is to produce a real-time game accessible to a wide audience. The pair has years of collective experience in the real-time strategy space. Morten, a former production director at Blizzard Entertainment, was the brains behind StarCraft II transition to a free-to-play live service model in 2017, and Campbell was the original lead campaign director for Warcraft III, The Frozen Throne. Obviously, these guys love real-time strategy. Let's continue. I wonder if they have any money. Great question. Based in Orange County, California, Frost Giant is backed by $4.7 million in seed funding from a group of investors that is led by Bitcraft Ventures and includes prominent industry players such as Riot Games. So far, the studio has hired 8 full-time employees. Get ready for this. So far, the studio has hired 8 full-time employees, 7 of whom came directly from the StarCraft II team. There's a lot of people either wanting to get in on this or is done with StarCraft. Wow. Technically, all of us had worked on StarCraft II, Morten said, but we think Tim is more of the Warcraft III guy. Now, this is what I think, okay? Yes, there are currently other RTS games in development. I know Warhammer, there's going to be a new fantasy game coming out, there's a few others, but the fact that StarCraft III is not in development and they are going to stop making content for StarCraft II leaves this genre wide open. Yes, it's not as big as it used to be. Yes, it's not as in demand as it used to be. Yes, most people don't even know what RTS is. Probably like my kids, which is my own fault, but they're still young, okay? But there's gonna be a demand for a new game. At least one high-budget, well-made RTS, especially if you're talking about it's made from the people that developed StarCraft and Warcraft. Like, what better company like Frost Giant Studios to make a new RTS game? I love it. I love the idea. Now, Morten goes on to say he's also interested in updating the tone and aesthetic of real-time strategy to match the preferences of the modern gamer. A self-described StarCraft fan, Morten enjoys the comic book-like visual style developed by Blizzard art director Sam Didler, but at the same time, we're definitely looking at trends. Now, this is the part that scares me a little bit. Morten said, you know, the popularity of Fortnite. When I think of Fortnite, I think of microtransactions. Among Us, I think of 2D, and Fall Guys, I think of mini games, for sure. So I'm hoping when they think of things like this, maybe it's just like the communication you can have with people inside the game. It's really important when you're playing, at least from like a team effort standpoint, but there's definitely some things about these games that I don't really enjoy. But anyways, obviously it's good that they're looking at trends because they need to put some of that stuff in there so that you can make the game popular. So I get it. They conclude with, there's an opportunity for us to think deliberately about what we want the play experience to be at the highest levels of the game versus the lowest levels of the game. Morten said, I think there are a lot of things that we can do better. Okay, now I don't want to beat a dead horse, but this is the last article I want to show you. The amount of talent that has left Blizzard over the last few years is staggering. And it really is staggering. I mean, you hear about people leaving all the time. I mean, there's been 3 game studios made from ex-Blizzard staffers. Wow. Okay, now this video will be an hour long if I literally go through each one of these people. So we're just going to count how many names. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Maybe my count's off. I count 25 high-ranking game developers from Blizzard has left. And this isn't over the course of 2 decades. This is over the course of a few years. 25 people. This is really actually an amazing article. I will link it in the description. It talks about Frost Giant Studios. It talks about Dreamhaven. It talks about Second Diner, which is something we didn't talk about. And it talks about Bonfire Studios. All the things that these people are doing after they left Blizzard, because it wasn't like they were old and retiring. They were just sick of what happened with the Activision Blizzard merger. All right, everyone, that's the video. Is the future of RTS a bright, shining star, or is it doom and gloom like everybody else says? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have not joined the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We now have over 360 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. Thank you all for watching. Stay home, stay safe. Do not forget to join the official Action RPG Discord. Aaron, out.